Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Cowboys' Jerry Jones gets blunt about what makes contract negotiations work. The Dallas Cowboys made history just hours before their game against the Cleveland Browns on Sunday, September 8, by signing quarterback Dak Prescott, 31, to a 4-year contract extension, making him the highest-paid player in the NFL. With Prescott fully in the fold, the Cowboys also went on to win that game, 33-17. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones, of course, was involved with Prescott's contract negotiations. In an interview with 105.3 The Fan, KRLD-FM, Jones gets blunt about what makes contract negotiations work, regardless of either party's feelings. During the September 10 interview with 105.3 The Fan, Jones was asked if he's ever worried about hurting a player's feelings in a tough negotiation or worried that a player would demand a trade over a negotiation that wasn't going their way at first. "I've never seen anybody get their feelings hurt enough that the money couldn't cure," Jones stated. Jones also talked about what would make Prescott's contract a success. "When I look at what Dak is, he's a leader," Jones said. "He plays an ultimate position of leadership in sports, as the quarterback." He added that you can put a huge value on measures of success that don't reach a Super Bowl. "Any time that we've ever made players the highest paid player, key players, such as Troy Aikman, the most highest paid player in the game, we won Super Bowls." Jones also said that he couldn't be more pleased with how the Cowboys' season opener went off. Prescott is coming off his most successful season in the NFL, clocking 4,516 yards with 36 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. He also was selected for the NFL All-Pro Second Team, given a Pro Bowl nod, and was runner-up in AP NFL MVP voting. During a September 8 press conference following the Cowboys vs. Vikings game, Prescott was asked if he ever asked Jones what took so long to get his contract with the team done. "No. Not at all," he replied. "It could have been me. I know my part in this whole deal, and that's where negotiations come. I understand the business point blank. I understand the business, the game is a business. I've said it before that I didn't take anything personal. I wasn't upset about where we were in the talks. Wouldn't have been upset if it didn't get done today, so no." When asked about his mentality going forward, Prescott said, "All my motivation. Hold up my part of this deal and just deliver that." Prescott added, "That's my motivation. Right now, it's about celebrating this win tonight. A hell of a win with these guys. Excited for this plane ride back with them, but turning the page tomorrow and getting on to the Saints and taking it one game at a time. That's what's at the forefront of my mind. Not the money. It's about holding up my end of the deal, and that's winning. And I want to do it here." Why Mike Zimmer could be the missing ingredient that finally takes the Cowboys' places. The Dallas Cowboys might have struck gold with this Mike Zimmer thing. We know, it's just one game. Let's see how things go before we get too excited. Your skepticism is understood. And it's not as if they just dominated a top NFL offense. They didn't. The Cleveland Browns were without their starting tackles, so the table was set for them to have their hands full. And Deshaun Watson may be one of the easier quarterbacks in the league to rattle. When he's good, but when he's bad, well, you get it. The offensive line and the quarterback play were terrible for the Browns on Sunday. They didn't manhandle an offensive juggernaut. Instead, they manhandled a vulnerable offense, but manhandled nonetheless. This still came as a surprise to us because there were so many questions on this Cowboys defense. The team entered the new season with far fewer pass rushing options than the year before. Where was the pass rush going to come from? They were down a starting corner and had to rely on a fifth-round rookie. That has to be a nightmare waiting to happen, right? And they completely remodeled their linebacker group, starting 2 new players who didn't play for them last season. All these things painted a picture that could have gone bad for them on Sunday, especially when you factor in that the Cowboys' offense didn't do a whole lot. But the defense came through in a big way and they confused the dickens out of their opponent. The Cowboys were very disruptive on Sunday, but it wasn't just because they had stars making plays. It was a collective effort that featured smart play, consistent, with no let-up. The Cowboys' defense was extremely well coached and the results were outstanding. One of the biggest differences between Dan Quinn's defense and Mike Zimmer's is the way they attack. Quinn likes his guys to get after the quarterback. He's creative with the stunts he employs in his pass rush and takes a very aggressive approach. It's provided many splash plays for the defense over his tenure in Dallas. Zimmer goes about things a little differently. He expects his guys to stick to their assignments. Rather than taking off in pursuit, they're reacting. They're following their instructions and never going off script. This discipline allows them to keep things in front of them and prevent the big play. As good as the Cowboys' defense has been under Quinn, they've been victimized before by taking the bait, but these mental mistakes weren't present on Sunday. So much is made of Zimmer's double-A mug, where his linebackers line up over the A-gap as if they are going to rush. This puts a lot on the offense to figure out where its protection should come from. Just that little delay where the offensive line has to determine where they need to go is all the actual rushers need to get a jump on the blocker. And when you don't square up on a player like Micah Parsons or DeMarcus Lawrence, you're in big trouble. The Cowboys pressured Watson 25 times on 56 dropbacks. The pressure came from all directions. Sometimes they blitzed, most times they didn't. You could see Watson break the pocket even before pressure was right up on him. He spent all afternoon running and 6 times the Cowboys caught up to him. The defense's ability to keep the offense guessing made it extremely hard on the Browns. Does Dak's extension give Atlanta a shot at chasing Micah Parsons? Among the many draft mistakes Atlanta Falcons GM Terry Fontenot should wish he could correct is selecting Kyle Pitts over Dallas Cowboys edge rusher Micah Parsons. Kyle Pitts had a great rookie season and could still prove to be a building block for the Atlanta offense. However, there is no arguing who the superior player is, and that Parsons is the impact defender Atlanta has been missing. With the recent extensions for the Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott and star receiver CeeDee Lamb, it is fair to wonder if Parsons could be on the move. Looking at the cap in Dallas and considering the players they are already paying, it is going to be difficult to extend Micah, but not impossible. Judging from recent comments made by Parsons and the Dallas Cowboys owner, it seems incredibly unlikely. Only Myles Garrett and T.J. Watt are in the same conversation as Micah Parsons. A trio of defensive players who elevate their teams and impact winning at the highest level. If the Atlanta defense were able to add Parsons to their current core, they would be a realistic NFC contender. Despite the offensive questions and the struggles in the secondary, adding Parsons completely changes the ceiling and perspective of the team. Unfortunately for the Falcons, this is an impossible dream for a player who understands the value of playing for the Cowboys and the money it translates into off the field. Going from the Cowboys to the Falcons is unrealistic for a player of Micah's ability and stature. As fun as the fit might be to consider, it simply isn't a realistic possibility. For the Falcons to find a star pass rusher, they must utilize the draft or look to overpay an aging star at the position. Micah Parsons has zero chance of ever being an Atlanta Falcon. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Micah Parsons? Leave your opinion in the comments.